Looking back at last game, what did you notice kind of standing out in the film now?
I think we were able to manage throughout the course of the whole game our intensity. I think the trust level in each other was really good. I think we created a big number of high-quality shots that they did not fall down. Our shooting percentages were low. And obviously, what really stood out is our rebounding on both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. We just dominated glass, and that really gave us a great opportunity, great chance to win the game.
When I think about the players and the fact that, like a lot of the new guys, especially like the ones like Jamal Shead that had that putback dunk, that was pretty crazy. Do you sense a level of comfortability that's coming from the offense within his game and maybe some other players as well that they're willing to kind of take more risks?
I'm really encouraging guys to do that, to take more risks, not to play safe on offensive and defensive end, to work on their game, to work to recognize their limitations and to work on those in workouts, in practices, and try to do those in games, because that's the only way how you can improve. If you're trying always to play safe, you're going to stay in that box. So I believe that my team knows that I'm willing to live with some mistakes if they're coming from good plays and from intentional plays to help the team.
You were just speaking about how, obviously you're relying more on some bench players, role players, guys coming up from 905 and 10-day contracts. But the defensive schemes are looking solid in all those configurations. How difficult is it to introduce people to a new scheme, or just make sure that everyone in the organization, from the 905 to the your usual starters, are familiar and comfortable with the defensive schemes?
Definitely, it's much easier with guys that are coming from 905 because they run the same system and guys are familiar what they need to do, how they need to play. And obviously, when we have a 10-day signing like Colin, it takes a little bit of time. I think he's a very smart player. He's accepting things. There are certain things that we do differently than the rest of the league. Then it's a traditional, like you can call it, defense and schemes, and trying to get guys to understand what we're trying to achieve, how we want to do that. It's great. But what's really special is, to be honest with you, like majority of my work has been done at this point by other teammates. Players are really helping each other, talking to each other, keeping each other accountable. Yesterday before the game, RJ grabbed Jared Roden and AJ Lawson and talked to them how they need to be aggressive on defense, not to be afraid to make mistakes, to be really to focus, to guard really hard. And that speaks a volume about where the team is right now with the culture.
I mean, you just mentioned RJ, but are there any particular players that are sort of taking on that sort of assistant coaching role where they're taking on the responsibility?
My lead assistant coach is Scotty Barnes. There is no doubt about that. We had a lot of conversations during the summer, how we want to play, how we want to, to be aggressive and pick up full court and be disruptive in a half court as well. And he really stands behind all of that. He's making sure in timeouts that he knows the coverages, that he communicates with teammates, that he communicates any adjustments. He's definitely my lead assistant coach on that coaching part.
A lot of talk with fans, people in this room about the final stretch in this season and the impact that's going to have, the negative or positive impact that could have on the draft. You hear the word tank thrown around. How do you, as a coach, keep that out of your room and make sure guys are following your plan and progressing the way that you need them?
We're approaching every game with the same mentality. We're preparing to go out there and play the best basketball we can. We're focusing on developing our full roster, 1 through 18. We're focusing on putting players in situations where they can learn a lot from, and that's very important for establishing the culture, for establishing a high level of habits. And this part of the year, it might be, for some teams they just give up or whatever, and they play, they don't take it seriously. We take every game seriously. I think it's very important for our culture to have that, and for guys to play the right way throughout every single game.
But is it hard at the same time not to think about that draft pick would help?
For me and for the players, all we're focusing on is next game.
Coach, you've played Jared Rodden over the past few games, especially in the fourth quarter. He's played 30 minutes. Can you talk about what you've seen that he brings to the table and what you think maybe the next level?
Yes, I really like, we talked about when we signed him first that he did a great job with his body, getting stronger. I think he's doing a good job defensively there. I like the force that he's playing on offensive side, that he's attacking the rim, fearlessly. We're working with him right now to make quicker decisions, to shoot the ball faster if he has a window for a shot, and then to really make quick decisions on the closeouts, not to get into second, third, fourth dribble, to be really efficient with every dribble that he's using. I think he made huge strides with 9 of 5 this season, and it's exciting to see him out there playing for us as well.
When word development is like thrown out there like every single day, basically, how satisfying is it to see a guy like
Bless you.
A guy like AJ Lawson have, I don't want to call it a breakout game, but a good game that he did last night. And was there anything eye-opening for you about it?
I mean, he had a tremendous performance, scored 32 points, shot the ball well from three-point line. He was playmaking well. I thought he played good defense as well. He got in a foul trouble early in the game, but he was able to manage it throughout the course of the game. Finished the game with 12 rebounds. I thought that he played great, and it's really nice to see how the whole team embrace him and Jared and Colin and all of those guys, the way they're sharing the ball, encouraging them, building them up. And AJ is local kid from Toronto, so it's amazing. The other night when I started him for the first time, I was there in that like introduction line. You should see his face. Like there was not happier man on planet at that point. So it's very special to have a local kid that can step on the floor and contribute in the way he is.
In that Boston game, we asked you that was like one of your last few games against really, really top tier competition. You talked about how it might change after that in terms of evaluation. How have you found evaluating this team against this type of competition compared to sort of earlier in the year when you were playing some of the best teams?
Obviously, when you play top teams, the most talented teams, the best teams, that's like you're trying to raise to the occasion to compare yourself with the best of the best. At this point, it's more comparing to our standard. It's not like are we better than this or that team, and with all the respect for all other teams, but we're really focusing on us, the way how we want to continue developing our identity, how we want to play on offensive end. I'm really trying to get our guys to compare ourselves with our standard more than anything else.
How close do you think this team healthy is to being competitive playoff?
Remain to be seen. We still did not see Brandon Ingram play any minutes for us, so we're definitely very excited to see that. I don't know. I wish I know the answer for that one, but on paper and in theory, Brandon should be bringing a lot of talent, a lot of quality to us, but time is going to show.
Back tomorrow night?
Yak is going to be back tomorrow night. Scotty Barnes is questionable for the game. For a couple of games now, he's been dealing with his right hand fifth finger sprain. He re-aggravated that injury yesterday in a game, so he's going to be questionable for the game. Questionable is Ocha as well. Jamison Battle is questionable. He got hit in his face last night as well. Who else I'm missing? A lot. J-Mo is still recovering. He's out. Mobo is out. Brandon Ingram is out. Ulrich is out. All the regulars. Great is out. Jakob is out. So he's still recovering. In next couple of days, we're going to do reevaluation and know more in which direction he's going. But at this point, he's just doing form shooting.
With Battle, because he was going to get checked up today. Did he get checked up today?
He's going after this to see the doctor. Yes.
I was curious, we're going to be speaking to Jamal in a couple of minutes. What's it been like getting to know him and seeing his game develop over his rookie season?
It's been impressive to watch. It's very mature for his age. Like I think the development, like the boost in confidence, like all the you just see he has a different presence on the court now than he had early in the season, which, I mean, obviously everybody kind of goes through that process. Like you get here at first and it's like, whoa, it's a completely new environment. Like you got to get adjusted to a bunch of things. But I think he managed to do it very quickly and has made steps forward that, I don't know, I've not seen a lot of rookies make, like where he's like in like a legit, like kind of like a leadership role in his rookie year, which, it's kind of what you want from your point guard, because like they're like the floor generals out there. They're supposed to get everybody on the same page. So seeing those kind of signs in him early is I think, really positive and a good sign for the future.
What did you think of his dunk last night?
I thought it was really cool. I think you could see the reaction on the bench. Everybody was pretty hyped up. I wish it didn't get caught on the rim. It would have looked even cooler. But
you guys almost trampled Darko trying to rush Jamal there.
I didn't notice Darko, so yeah, sounds legit.
Just almost on a broader scale, how proud are you of this group and kind of like the development you've seen and how far this group has come?
I think similar to what I said about Jamal, I think we've made great strides this year, like just in the way we want to play basketball and like the way everybody's bought into it. Like it's unique in the NBA, like the amount of aggressiveness, the amount of like energy everybody's putting out there on the court. It's definitely not easy, especially keeping that up over a whole season. So yeah, I'm really proud of everybody, the way they've handled that. And then like just continuing to improve individually and as a team. I think that whole mindset is really ingrained in everybody. So I think it's only up from here.
Darko was talking about the culture and building that culture. How would you describe the culture in the locker room?
I mean, in general, very positive. I think like it kind of naturally comes with like such a young group where like everybody's very bought in together. It's almost like a little bit of a college group where a lot of these guys don't have families to go home to yet, so they're all just kind of hanging out in their free time. But yeah, even outside of that, like even the guys that do have family, kids wise, whatever, like they're very engaged in the locker room. And you could tell like the group chat is alive. Like guys are going out for like random like dinners and stuff like that. So it's been really fun, honestly.
Your first stint with Toronto was a very different kind of culture. Obviously, it's a team that was much closer. I guess it was not far removed from a championship when you think about it. How would you compare the culture now to that culture that you were a part of back in those days?
I would say in ways it wasn't too dissimilar. Like especially with like the young guys we had on the team, we had similar things going with like the bench mob times and stuff like that, where we did spend a lot of time off the court with each other as well. And the veterans at the time, like they weren't as much involved in like the off the court stuff, but we still had a really positive locker room. I think the biggest difference probably is like how much of an emphasis, and I think a lot of it is coming from Darko, is on like really trying to get the team together on a regular basis, like doing like these like team dinners, like doing different like just team events even on the road, when we're going to Universal in Orlando, or we're going to like, I don't know, like whenever we have like a road trip where we're in a city for like 2-3 days and we have an off day, like it seems like they're planning something for at least everybody to have the possibility to do. So I think that's probably like the biggest difference there.
RJ was telling me that he wants to be known as a two-way player in this league. Just going throughout the league and playing against him for a number of years, and now your teammates, like how have you seen his game mature?
Yeah, I mean he's been working very hard. Like I think the two things I've noticed the most is like how much he's improved as a finisher and shooter. Like when I remember like rookie RJ was very predictable, as like he was obviously always very skilled and like athletic and stuff like that, but like his finishing skill sets was like very predictable, at least for me. And The way he's been shooting it this year has been really impressive, and the way he's bought into the defense. Like I think he was one of those guys that like you knew he could play defense, but it wasn't like you could tell it wasn't his like the first thing on his mind. And now like that you can really see a shift in that where like you see him out there being like the aggressor on defense, which I don't know, like I can't claim I've seen all the Knicks games in the past where that RJ has played in, but I don't remember that same type of energy and intensity on defense. So I think those are some major improvements on his part.
You've had 2 off nights in the past 3 games. What have those conversations been like? How have you felt about those conversations with whomever they're with?
I mean, I'm at the end of the day, like I just like obviously there's a back and forth conversation there, and like we're discussing it. Like I have some say in it, but at the end of the day, like they're like my head coach and the front office, like those guys are my bosses at the end of the day. So like if they want me to play, I'll play. If they don't want me to play, I won't play. And I'm sure they know what they're doing. And I just yeah, like obviously, like I said, there's a little bit more to it. I'm just putting it very, very bluntly right now. But yeah, like I said, I know they have the best in mind for our team. So whatever their decision is at the end of the day, I'm going to trust in it.
What is it like to not play in those games?
I think it's okay. Like I think there's like positives and negatives to me from like for me personally. Like sometimes it's like hard to watch because you're itching to be out there, like you want to play. But it's also really cool to see a lot of young guys get a lot of minutes and see them thrive out there. Like really, like they get more opportunities to really show what they can do. Like a lot of times, like even when young guys get playing time, like their roles are very limited out there because like you have other guys like Scotty, myself, RJ Quick, who like make most of our plays, and now we have a situation where guys that usually aren't in those roles like have to make plays for us, have to really change their game around a little bit. And I think it's a good opportunity to see who could potentially make those steps in the future and like fill those roles for us. Yeah, that's really cool to watch.
We obviously spoke with Coach and Yak, and they're talking about how much you've developed as a player over the course of the season so far. What's been your personal focus in terms of, evolving your game and, playing at the NBA level?
Lots of film and just paying attention. The first thing Coach talked to me about was just being like a junkie with film. Just noticing where you can attack, where you can't attack. Fouls here and there, just little things, but just paying attention to every single detail and trying to figure out how I can impact that. So I think I'm figuring it out a little bit more. But, obviously I still have a lot to learn. It's year 1, and there's a lot of tricks and stuff that I can learn from a lot of guys. And, going home and having to work out with Alex Caruso, I'm going to use him all summer.
A few of us were in the locker room last night when Scotty, RJ, and Garrett were giving you maybe a bit of a hard time about your dunk,
Right.
The quality of it. It was really clear how much they love you and respect you, and like you just seamlessly fit into that locker room. What's been that process been like, getting to know those veterans and just, becoming part of the team, sort of like culturally in the locker room, team dinners, stuff like that?
We don't have egos in our locker room. I think when you're surrounded by good people, you have no choice but to be a good person also. All of our leaders, and Scotty, RJ, Garrett, Quick, Yacht, those are great people, on and off the court. So, we built a relationship, a certain level of respect from Miami, from Spain, just being around them, hanging out, them making an effort. When we were in Spain, everybody made an effort to go to dinner together. Everybody makes an effort to go to dinner in certain cities. We like to hang out together. So just them making that effort and, wanting to be around us, it went a long way.
I'm sure you've been asked before, like what do you want to work on from now to the rest of the season, especially with this year being focused on development. But it's almost like with the off season coming, around the corner, is there anything that you kind of experiment with that you could tweak later in the off season? Like you kind of want to plant the seeds now so you could take it into something you could work on later.
When people go under on screens, just off the dribble shooting a little bit. Everything else, just comes with work. But I think Coach and Vinny, me and him have talked about it, just being ready to shoot that if they go all the way under. And other than that, I'm going to have an exit meeting at the end of the year. We're going to talk about what they want me to work on, and then I'm going to go from there. But right now, it's just about being consistent still.
You mentioned Alex Caruso. Have you worked out with him in the past?
Yeah, I worked. So I didn't have much of a summer because I was hurt, and then rookies don't really get a summer that much. But I worked out with him for I think maybe a good 3 or 4 weeks, and he still taught me a lot. Just about little defensive tricks here and there. And he keeps up with me, and we've talked over the season. But he works out in Austin. I'm from Austin, so I'm excited to learn from him all summer.
Is that the connection? Just he works out there.
Yeah, we both work out with the same guy.
Because of all the injuries and resting some of the more experienced players, you're getting a lot more playing time. How has that helped you develop and see the floor better, maybe more on the offensive side? Like Yak just called you a floor general. How much has that increased playing time, helped maybe speed up that evolution as a player?
I think it's sped it up tremendously. Getting playing time with Yak, getting playing time with RJ, getting playing time with Scotty, learning how they play, and they make my life a lot easier. Getting the ball to Yak in that kind of half circle area, it's an automatic assist. Just got to figure out how to get it to him. So, just learning little things about all the guys that I'm looking forward to playing with next year. And then also trying to elevate the guys around me. We were all trying to make each other better. Orlando getting a standard contract, Collins here on a 10-day. But we're all trying to push each other and, make a push and make each other better. So I think everybody having the right attitude has been tremendous, especially going forward in this part of the season.
Have you been able to keep in touch with Davion?
Davion calls me randomly every 2 weeks now. Just a random fact or a random memory that pops up in his head. You remember the time when we were in Spain? Do you remember this? He's such a energetic person, and I think having that first half of the season with him was awesome for me, and I think we're going to be in touch forever.
I was going to ask you, did you talk about the dunk at all, or?
He hasn't called me yet, but it'll happen.
Okay.
I know it'll happen.
Are you enjoying this part of the year? In the sense of there's going to be a lot of playing time. There's maybe a little bit of freedom. Obviously, the wins are what you guys play for, but it's maybe organizationally, it's more about trying to put you guys in interesting positions and gives you a little bit of freedom. I think it's
been really fun. Not just because of the freedom, but also just getting to play a lot. You dream about playing in the NBA, and then once your turn is here, sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes you have to go through a different route. I think being able to play this much, and it's just been really fun, especially with the guys around me. They make it fun.
I'm TJ Ford, and you're watching the Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest videos and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Works right into the lane, puts it up and in! TJ runs away.